thanks everyone for being here. Plan for today is to share a bit about interesting stuff being developed here in Argentina when it comes to privacy. Our goal is basically to share all the contributions happening from the local community to the global Web3 space when it comes to privacy. So in that, I'll let all the awesome folks here introduce themselves and briefly share what they're working on. Let's start just 1 second, like your name, your team, and then we'll go a bit deeper on what each of you are building.
Okay. I'm Milton Merman. I am co-founder of Wake Up Labs. I am an informatics engineer here from UBA in Argentina. Yeah, we are working with a great team of engineers here at Wake Up Labs for different DAOs and organizations such as Arbitrum, Aztec, Optimism, Coinbase, and others. So happy to be here. Thank you, Pala and organization.
Hey everyone, I'm Titi. I work at Wonderland. I'm leading privacy initiatives like Privacy Pools and Gohaku. For the ones who don't know what Wonderland is, we are a group of core developers which are obsessed with best quality and best practices and everything that we do. Working with Aztec, Optimism, the Ethereum Foundation, Drums, and many, many more partners. I'm gonna leave the
Hello, Opa. Hello, what's up? I'm Casio. I work at Fat Solutions. I'm a co-founder and dev in there. We've been working for the last 2 years on making privacy a little bit less unusable because I think most protocols are pretty difficult to use. There's a lot of friction in there, and we're trying to focus on there. Yeah. And I also wanted to say that Argentina is a beautiful country. I came here like 3 days ago, and everyone is so kind. It's beautiful. I think I might live here. Yeah. Like asados and fernet are beautiful, man. Yeah. Love these people. I love you, Argentinians.
Well, I like to start saying that I love the Fat Solutions name. That's a great name. My name is Diego. I worked in the government for 3 years, and I co-created Quark ID, which is a self-sovereign identity protocol now used by almost 1 million citizens in the city of Buenos Aires. I co-founded Sobra.io, which is a company focusing in digital trust and digital identity, focusing in privacy. And we are partnering with Lambda class, implementing the FRX L1, L2 client in Validium mode.
Okay, thank you guys. I'm Santiago. I work with Aztec. We're building a private first L2 chain. You can also grab a matcha from our stand back there. And yeah, from Aztec, we have the chance to work with many of these teams, and I can confirm that all they're saying on being obsessed on quality and being fantastic developers is 100% true. Honestly, the quality that's coming out of Argentinian development teams, it's amazing. So, okay, now that we're all here, that we know each other, let's take like 1 or 2 minutes each to share like what developments have you been working on. Yeah, basically share the projects that you're working from your respective teams.
Good, okay. We'll focus on privacy, of course. We have been working this year. We made a bunch of stuff. We were testing and doing POCs. For example, we created a private ERC20 token standard for Starknet using Noir. This year, we presented it in East Denver. Also, we did a CK proof verifier for Arbitrum Stylus, also with Noir. That's a great project we did. Now we are happy to launch in a couple of weeks. There is Fran, our technical lead. We are about to launch a private prediction market product that will be a proof of concept in Aztec. That will be huge. So we will add a privacy layer for guys that do bets on stuff. So yeah, and also in the past, I had the chance to build a protocol, the first self-sovereign identity protocol in Argentina and for LATAM, similar to what Diego is not working on. So we focus in identity platform and the people in the center, the people controlling the data, and privacy is a must. So yeah, I am super interested in privacy. I don't know if you saw the movie The Net, Sandra Bullock, 1995. That's where I stuck with privacy, and that's why I'm here. So happy to continue contributing with you guys.
Thank you. So on my end, as I mentioned, from Wonderland, we worked on Privacy Pools and Kohaku, which are really related. For the ones who don't know what Privacy Pools is, basically it allows you to do compliant, private, on-chain payments. The way it does it, like very, very quickly, Alice deposits in a pool across like with other actors, and then Oxbow analyzes it with KYT, and if she's a good actor, she's going to get whitelisted, which will allow her to do private withdrawals, right? And the good thing about that is that she would then, in order to do this private withdrawal, she will prove that she has the knowledge of the keys to her funds in the pool, that her funds belong to the pool, and that her address is actually whitelisted. And then the relayer is going to broadcast this transaction for her. So when she wants to pay for a coffee, let's say, Alice is not going to expose her address. A relayer is going to do it for her. So that's like really, really cool. It's a must for blockchain adoption that we have these private on-chain payments, and the compliant layer is fundamental. And related to that, it's Kohaku. I will be really quick, sorry. You probably heard Vitalik. He just presented what Kohaku is. And it's the way that all wallets are going to adopt these privacy features. So from now on, the Ethereum experience is actually private by default. And I will leave it there for now. So.
Okay. Well, from Fat Solutions, we've been working on privacy-related stuff since we started. Like the idea when we founded the company, we were like a group that really liked Monero in general, mostly privacy tools that really worked and we could use with good UX. And since Tornado Cash, we started looking at Ethereum more, like really looking at the Ethereum, because before that, you didn't even had anything related to privacy. That's why I think Tornado Cash made a huge impact, not only on technology side, but also on a cultural side. I think it lightened up a lot of initiatives to create privacy tools inside Ethereum on chain. And I think that's really important. And on Fat Solutions, yeah, well, we basically worked on a social login with zero knowledge using Gross 16 and Circum to create accounts with account abstraction, and just sign with a proof that you own a certain account, like Google account, for example. We built that last year. Then we also did some work with Aztec, doing some research on private share state and MPC, led by Dumbito, which is there. And then we also work with Maiden, doing some research and POCs for their wallet, because it's pretty difficult to do a wallet on a chain that is different from EVM, and that was tough. But Maiden is an interesting chain, I guess. Yeah, it's privacy oriented, yes. And then we worked on Privacy Pools. Yes, Privacy Pools is one of our biggest projects right now. We're building with Wonderland and the Oxbow team. We're doing the SDK and Relayer. We really love it. And yeah, we also did Proof of Innocence for Tornado Cash. It's like you can prove that you're not on the terrorist list. Like if you already deposited in Tornado Cash before the sanctions, you can prove when you withdraw that you are not on the, let's say, the blacklist, and you're part of the good people, I guess. And then you can connect that into privacy pools, so you don't get flagged just for being on Tornado Cash. So you can prove that you're not a North Korean hacker, basically. And then our product is Tongo. Tongo.cash is the URL. If you want to check it out, it's a ERC20 wrapper for making confidential transfers. We are not using any like Noir or Circum. We did our own circuits. We did our own prover and verifier. It's pretty cool. It works all client side. You don't have to use TEEs, no delegated proving, no shit. So I think it's pretty interesting. We are launching it like this week. We finished the audits like last week. So yeah, pretty interested in what happens with that. And yeah, I think that's it, right? Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned before, we work mostly in the ID/digital trust arena, not that much financial. We started working kind of 4 years ago, and fortunately, technology evolved dramatically. And now we have a lot of possibilities that we didn't have just 4 years ago. So our systems today basically rely on privacy, but giving users 100% control of their data. The only thing that we store on chain is a hash of that data, but not the data itself, which is stored for the time being in users' wallets. That, of course, presents some inconveniences because if the user loses the wallet, then they will lose their information. They will need to reclaim their information from institutions. I think it is very good that privacy is again part of the main talks, and it's not a forbidden word. For some years, if you said privacy, people would start sort of seeking you, and some of us went to prison because of that. I am happy to see that now privacy is again on top of the table, and we're freely discussing it because for me, it's a basic, and I guess for most of us, it's a basic human right. We are working, and I think that that's a good thing. Our customers are 100% big legacy institutions. We have big governments in Mexico, in Colombia, in Argentina, and in several other places in the region to which we provide them with systems in order to issue driver's licenses, birth certificates, and every other official document, as well as banks and big companies. And the good news here is that although you need to do some kind of teaching them, but they are willing to put information in hand of users and not being able of controlling, not even being able of controlling when verifying that information, because the verifying is done without what is called in this technology without phone home. So the issuer does not know who is verifying their IDs or where. So we're pretty excited what was coming. We will do a big upgrade to our systems, hopefully Q1 or Q2 2026, implementing lots of new technology that has appeared, which will make this much more straightforward.
Awesome, thank you guys. I want to pick up on a couple of things you guys mentioned. Like, I find it awesome, for instance, that from WakeUp, you're bridging different ecosystems, like deploying Noir on Starknet, or like, yeah, basically breaking silos from local development via local development teams. I think that's fantastic. And well, Kohaku was presented by Vitalik on main stage, and you have to go the whole loop going from Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation back to local development team here in Argentina, actually doing the groundwork for pushing that forward. I think that's amazing. And well, also, yeah, you started touching on this, the fact that privacy is now on part of the main narrative and like the technology that's pushing it, and the fact that we have access to that technology thanks to much of the work that teams here are doing. I also find it great, like the fact that we are building solutions, and I mean as Argentinian community, both from like cypherpunks hackers to more legacy institutions, and like trying to cover as much ground as possible. And in that regard, I wanted to ask you, like, how do you see more immediate pain points or deployments of the technology you're working on? Like whether it's in Argentina, the world, or whatever, like we have discussed, well, you guys have presented the solutions they're working on. I'm curious about the applications and use cases that you see, probably the most immediate ones or the most interesting ones you see.
Well, I think, of course, there are privacy concerns regarding data in general, you know, the Facebook stuff 10 years ago. That's something that still concerns us. But in this ground, I think the first thing we can do better, because this is a hot take, but banks are doing better than us in terms of privacy. So that's not good. We have to catch up on that. We have to be better on financial privacy. Because nowadays, if I do a payment to you, you know my address and you know my net worth now, before, and forever. And I have to change my wallet address if I don't want that. And that's super complex. And we need to build and be better on that. And we, Aztec and many of you and everybody here, I know many people is working towards that. But I think that's the pain point, because nowadays we use it and we are tech guys, but when this becomes more massive, people will realize that they will be more private using a bank if we don't change what we have now. So I think we have to put laser focus there, privacy for finance. And also in the other space, I think it's super important that we continue with the principles of self-sovereign identity. When we build apps, there are 10 principles that Christopher Allen wrote 10 years ago. I know them from heart, but one that is super important is we control our data. We should control our data. And also the apps should be built with a minimization principle. That is, share the less amount of data required. Don't share everything just because that app requested. We have to build on those two paths. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I really agree. I think that we have already gained like self-custody of assets, and now we need to regain the ownership of data. The main point that I see is actually like on-chain payments. I guess that all of us are using crypto because we fell in love with the technology behind it. And for some time, we assumed that the pseudo-anonymity that you provided was good enough, but it's not anymore at all. And if you were to explain like crypto to anyone, and then you get to the point like, yeah, everybody can see your funds, it's like that's risky, like extremely risky. And no one would like. How are we expecting adoption that way? Privacy is a must. Is for everyone. And actually, it's like we are not hiding. Like we needed to protect. So that's actually what we are building with privacy pools that enables this. And on top of privacy pools that provides like the protocol and all the tech for it, we need adoption. And like one thing people usually forget is that the way you communicate with Ethereum and you use it is through wallets. So we need this on every wallet, and that's what Kohaku is doing. So from like the goal is that from now on, in the next few months, once every wallet starts adopting Kohaku, your payments will be private by default. All right, you will have your private account that you could see in the demo, and there will be like no reason at all to do it publicly because like why would you? Is that he said like the banks are better in some way to provide you that privacy, and like we have all this vision and like this ethos about being decentralized, but people ends up using centralized solutions to gain some sort of privacy. So we need to fix this ASAP. Hopefully, like the good thing is that we are fixing it, and the Ethereum Foundation is actually very concerned about this. So I'm bullish on like Ethereum and everything. Like we will make things good for privacy. Go ahead.
Okay, so pay points, right? What I think is that right now nobody is using privacy, not even us. We can compare the TVL of Aave is like 35 billion, and the whole biggest privacy protocols, are, I don't know, Railgun and privacy pools combined have like 105 million TVL. Nobody's using them. So I think we have to accept that and start doing something about it and not circle jerk like, hey, yeah, we're all cypherpunks, but we have to do something, you know? What I think, my vision is that we should start paying more attention to SDKs so we can integrate with existing stuff. That's why I really like the Kohaku initiative that the Ethereum Foundation is doing. Finally, I'm aligned. Yes, it's beautiful. I think it makes sense. That's why all the products that we're doing right now and all the work that we do, we pay the most attention to the SDKs to be DevX, like a good DevX, to be able to integrate quickly and relatively easily with a complex system. Like privacy protocols in general are a pain to integrate because they're difficult, they are new, nobody understands them. So that's our biggest focus right now, to make good SDKs. Because the front end, I mean, you can have the front end of privacy pools. Yeah, it's beautiful. It has UX. It has, yeah. But nobody, like, if you got to pay me for the money I lent you, you're not going to use privacy pools, sadly, because it's a pain in the ass. Like, you will send me from your MetaMask, and I will see your address, and you will see mine, and everything will be fucked. So we have to pay more attention to SDKs, I think. And if the SDKs have good developer experience, then existing protocols will be able to integrate us a little bit more easy, I guess. And then the other point that I like is having composable tools, privacy-related stuff. Like, I like to have a privacy thing that I can unlink a depositor from a withdrawer. And I also interested in having confidential payments, for example. Yeah, I know that's our product. Yeah, I'm shilling it. But it makes sense. Like, right now, we cannot do confidential payments. Like, you can use privacy pools, but you will see the amount that you're sending. So I think that the future is going to be like composing different components and achieving the stack, the privacy stack that you want to use and that you need to use, because maybe you have different needs than a bank, for example. So that's kind of my take, I guess.
Well, as I mentioned, we work with one feet in the crypto world and the other feet in the legacy world. And the main battles that we are doing or fighting right now is first, precisely UX. If people, when you're targeting millions of users, most of them non-technical, I always mention the case of my 85-year-old mother, even MetaMask seems like rocket science. So they need as simple as possible Web2 interface without sacrificing the self-sovereign identity principles and the privacy features. So our main goal now is achieving a world-class UX in Web2 terms without sacrificing, again, those self-sovereign identity and privacy principles. And our second biggest challenges are sort of breaking up some preconceptions that big institutions have. And I will mention two of those. The first one comes through governments. Governments usually try to come up with this idea of, hey, I'm going to have this super app where everybody will be able to put in documents and credentials on top of it, and the citizens will be very comfortable because they will have not only my driver's license, but the province's, I don't know, working permit and the private company, whichever credential they issue. Funny thing is that every initiative in that sense failed, utterly failed. Carpeta Ciudadana in Colombia was a good app, but not a single subnational government was willing to give data to the national government. People work that way. They don't want to share the data, and it's correct. And the second thing, that battle is still ongoing. Huh? I think that it's mostly won, but not yet completely won. And the second big battle that we're doing is against private blockchains. I don't know why big institutions tend to have this crazy idea about doing private blockchains that they control, which is, in my humble perspective, the same thing as it were intranets in 1990s. It doesn't make sense. They failed in the 90s, they're gonna fail again. I think that the Fusaka rollout will be a great thing in that sense, basically because of the combinations of two things. First, the ability of running blockchains in Validium mode, where will allow you to keep the data private, but the blockchain non-permission and completely open. And the second thing, because any given institution using base rollups will be able of using the layer one consensus and not having centralized sequencers. So that's going to be a great advantage because any given institution will be able of hosting their own nodes and not depending on any other nodes. And that is, for me, something that would be a game changer.
Thank you, guys. I want to pick something that you guys said about, well, for sure, privacy for on-chain payments over crypto products that are already in there. I think that ties back with the opportunity that most people coming here for DevConnect have, that 1 in 5 Argentinians use crypto and have crypto, not necessarily self-custodial. And I think that throwing privacy on top of that is probably the missing component to enable people to hold their own crypto, own it, and manage it. And I think that that already existing crypto adoption here is a good stepping stone for builders coming from all over the world here in order to test their assumptions and actually work with privacy on top of a user base that's already halfway there into crypto. Casio, I don't promise holding back Amin if he wants to kick your ass after all you have been saying about privacy pools. Okay, you guys love each other. Oh, okay, I'll let you. Please, outside this place. Happy to hear you guys love each other. But okay, we're running short on time, so I'll ask you just 10 seconds. Someone is a developer here, they want to get started on privacy. What should they do?
Oh, now it's easier than, I don't know, 1 year before. I would say let's go and write a Noir contract. That's not because of you, but yeah, it's super easy. I have a bunch of engineers that they are programmers and they are not Circom developers by heart. And they took Noir and they were like, oh, fucking, I can use it. I can write circuits in just, I don't know, 5 minutes. And that 1 year ago, that didn't happen. So I would tell any developer to do that.
One thing I wanted to say first regarding what he said is that one misconception usually is that you think you use a privacy protocol and or like it grants you this privacy, And the truth is that we need a huge anonymity set. So it's true, like put your money where your mouth is, right? So for developers, I would recommend to go and try to build in secret. It's actually easier than it seems. I would suggest Noir because it's even easier. Learn about Merkle trees. Like most of circuits end up being like you recompute a hash and you prove inclusion in a Merkle tree, and with that you can build tons of things. And again, it's easier than it thinks, like that you would think. So try it out.
Okay, I would recommend you to read the Gross 16 paper. No, just kidding. I think you should go to look for existing protocols and see which you like the most. I would suggest going for one that has a little bit of a community and start looking at the issues on the PR, like the issues on the repo on GitHub. I really suggest you can do maybe a good first issue or something pretty small, and that can get you into contact with a lot of interesting and crazy people. And I think that will drive you to do awesome stuff. I mean, I always liked privacy, but I started getting into the community like 2 years ago. Before, I didn't do shit about privacy. I just was a user. And still, when I started like meeting people and actually talking with developers, I realized that it's not that difficult, I guess. On the last Cypherpunk Congress, I met Amin. I was like, hey, I want to work with you. And he said, yes. And we started working with him. That's it. And you just do things and it will work. Yeah. Gross 16 paper.
Well, it's not a recommendation, but I'm going to share with you something that we're investigating and doing research and working on, which is fully homomorphic encryption, which is kind of magic, huh? Being able of computing encrypted data without ever accessing the data. That will unleash a huge possibility regarding doing analysis on medical records in order to speed up investigations, processing tons and tons of house titles or IDs without ever accessing the personal data behind them. That will unleash a big industry and a bunch of possibilities, and we're really interested in investigating that.
Thank you, guys. Last thing I want to highlight here is crypto adoption is huge in Argentina, not just because of our financial struggles, but because of the fantastic talent that we have here. And these are just 4 of the people representing that you see today. Okay, thank you, and big round of applause for everybody.